was a book that was written, oh gosh, over 20 years ago. So it's still relevant, but it's not like it's anything new. But the principles still apply today, and I think they'll probably apply for a very long time. So being a 1-minute manager, there's some tips to this. So it's really trying to get you to what can you get done in the least amount of time that will help you get through your day. So the first thing is to set goals, praise and improvement, feedback, encouragement, speaking truth, laugh, work, and enjoy. And those are all things that we should at least be conscious of during our work day, to think about what we can do with our teams and when we're managing people. Now there are 3 secrets to the 1-minute manager, and it's 1-minute goal setting. Okay, so what that means is you agree on what goals should be, and you read and you reread them, and you can share these with the person that you're managing too. You take 1 minute out of your day, or it could be personal. You take 1 minute out of your day to every once in a while to look over what your goal is, right? And you go over that and you read it, and you see whether or not the behaviors are matching that goal. You look at performance and those type of things when you're setting your goals. The 1-minute praise, what you're doing with the praise phase is immediate and specific. You always need to be immediate. You need to be specific when you're giving praise. So for example, Sai, thank you very much. You did a very good job opening that piece of candy and chewing it and swallowing it down your throat. You did a very good job doing that. Thank you very much. That's specific. Other than, Sai, you really did a good job eating that food over there. That's not really specific, right? What food, when, where, how, those type of things. 1-minute improvement opportunity, same type of difference, same difference. You need to be immediate, and it needs to be specific. You need to tell someone what they did wrong, tell them how you feel, stop and let it sink in for a second. Then you're gonna let them know honestly that you're on their side, that it's nothing personal against them. It's just that you have to point out, for improvement opportunities, what happened. And then you reaffirm them, telling them that, like you said, it's not personal. I think well of you. Let's figure this out together. Okay? Any questions? All right. Okay, turn the page. Module 3, face-to-face communication. So during face-to-face communication, in this module, we're going to talk about building relationships. Well, so when you build a relationship, you always look for a common interest, right? What do you have in common with somebody? I think most people do that when you first meet somebody. Oh, are they from the same area? Oh, their hair is brown. Well, they talk like me, or they're from the same region. I mean, anything. We pick different reasons and different areas of interest when we go to meet people and when we choose to be friendly. Encourage the sharing of self on both sides, but make sure that it's appropriate and make sure that it is reasonable within the environment that you are having in that conversation. So when we say encourage sharing, just surface sharing. How's your weekend? How are your kids? We don't want to get too deep in the weeds talking about what you did Saturday night, and maybe you might get more information than you want. And I don't think that as leaders you should probably share everything that you're doing with your teammates either. So make sure it's just appropriate, but share. Make mental notes about what their interests are. Like if you know your teammate is interested in swimming, right? You could be like, hey, you watching the Olympics? Did you see them swim? What do you think? Blah, 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 blah. Stuff like that. Just, small talk. Recognition, recognizing our teams. I know we have initiatives here that we've got with the cards for doing something safe, knowing answers, but any recognition, productivity, you're doing a good job, thank you for going out of your way, thank you for training someone, those type of things. And encourage a mutual exchange of ideas. So that kind of ties into when we think about challenges we have and getting to know people, are we feeding off of people who are in our areas, right? Is there somebody that may work on the line, but Maybe they have a background in computers or something, and they can help you train or help somebody who's struggling on a computer. Maybe they have, I don't know, they've done something that they can aid you in that you don't necessarily know about until you talk to them, but you can include them and problem solve your areas, right? And make changes. Okay, so activity 4 on page 11. It's a personal analysis. And what you're going to do is you're going to think of a time in a recent situation you had the message communicate, your message was misinterpreted, and describe the situation below. Okay, so I want you to take a few minutes and just think about that and jot something down. We're not going to go over it as a group, but I'd like for you to think about that and just take about 2 minutes to do that. Then we're going to move on and keep going through the manual. Okay, we're going to go on to the next topic. So the next subject is, how are our words interpreted? Okay, so in your manual, and we'll just you'll look at this. You can go over them on your own, but briefly, you have some examples in there of what things we say, right? So, for example, if it says, "I'll get right back to you," right? You tell someone that. What do we mean? I'll get right back to you, right? And what could someone possibly hear? Here's some more work, or I'm not important to you right now. You don't have time for me. So when we were talking about giving messages and when we explain things, sometimes we have to keep in mind how we're saying it and what they hear and what we mean can so often be misinterpreted. So many times. You can simply say, go put that in the trash can. And they could hear, what? I have to empty all the trash? And then you really meant clean up your area and put that in the trash can. So these are just the good examples for you to look at and think about when you're talking with people and how things are interpreted. And I do think it's very important in our environment too, because we've got a lot of people who speak different languages, have different meanings, whose English might not be as fluent as others, whatever they speak. And if we know a second language, maybe our language skills aren't as fluent either. So being very careful, speaking slowly, speaking clearly would help in what you're trying to say. Perhaps explaining a little bit more in detail. I know I have to do that. I talk fast. So when I talk fast, people are like, what? I'm like, I know they're like, what did she say? And they just say, yeah. I'm like, I said that way too fast enough. I know I didn't understand it. They didn't understand it either. So it's those type of things to be mindful of. Make sure that you're keeping positive language and tone. So you can say, I can't understand. How could you make a mistake like that? What in the heck were you thinking? How many times, are you maybe in the moment? And you go up to somebody and be like, what'd you do now? Just like that. What? I can't understand that. What were you thinking? Now, is that positive? No. Nope. Kind of negative, huh? All right. Versus, when I heard that you made a mistake, I was surprised. What happened? Right? Now that's more positive, right? Doesn't that come across a little bit better? So, taking a few minutes, also another good thing is taking a few minutes to breathe and think before you speak. Now I know I'm so guilty of that. When you're out there in the moment, busy, and something happens. So it's just things to remember to stay positive so that we're not being offensive or rubbing someone the wrong way or not taking the time to understand what someone's trying to say. So our last module is on coaching. And in your manuals, you've got a lot of good information, okay, on what coaching is, and some skills that you can do, that you can say, what you can learn about, and how to coach your teams. So, in the interest of time, we're going to talk about the C's of what they are, the word coach and what it means. C, to collaborate. O is to own. A is to acknowledge. C is to communicate. And H is to help. So if you think about coach as an acronym per se, collaborate, own, acknowledge, communicate, and help. Some good coaching techniques are having a genuine concern for others, being fair, being consistent, being enthusiastic even, and being very respectful. And I like this little quote down here in the corner. It says, a manager tries to change people, a coach knows how to grow them. And right, that's what we're here to do. We're here to grow people, grow them in their skill sets, grow them in their knowledge of their job, grow them in their performance. So there's a process to coaching. You observe the performance of the individual. You clarify what your expectations are. You create an action plan for the teammate. And you monitor progress and you give feedback. Any questions on any of those? I'm going to go kind of fast. So there's a tool that's on page 18 that I've got there that if you want to take advantage of, you can use it. And it's a coach planning form. Use this tool to plan your coaching sessions. It helps you to be clear and concise. You create attainable timelines. And you can follow it to make sure that the goals are being achieved. So you have that there if you'd ever want to use that. Any questions over anything? All right, so in summary of the training today, remember that we work in a diverse environment of different cultures, educational backgrounds, religions, etc., etc. Be patient and be inclusive. Utilize the skills we've talked about to enhance your leadership style. And finally, always remember, it's the people who make success possible. Use integrity, treat them fair, build relationships, and have a little fun along the way. Yay, that's the end. Thank you very much. Now what I'd like for you to do, there's our last page, it's the evaluation form. You don't have to put your name on it, but if you would just kindly read the questions and provide some feedback for me, I would sure appreciate it. Thank you.